Okay, good morning class. Beta, today I am not going to take any test. Okay, test will be tomorrow. Today we will continue with our chapter 2, that is reproduction in plants and animals. Okay, I am repeating, today at 12:30 p.m. there will be no test of 8th class of biology. Okay, test I will take tomorrow, and tomorrow we will revise whatever will come in the test. Okay, and from this chapter only I am going to take your test. So today let's continue with the syllabus, and today the topic is fertilization, hybridization and agents of pollination. Okay, so the first topic which we are going to discuss is agents of pollination. Okay, students, in the previous class we have discussed about pollination and its type. Okay, pollination you all know, it is transfer of pollen grains from anther of the stamen to the stigma of the carpel or pistil, means from male part to the female part. Okay, now we have discussed regarding types. Okay, naturally they are of two types. One is self pollination and the other is cross pollination. Okay, and different agents they play an important role in the process of pollination that we are going to discuss today, and these are known as agents of pollination. Okay, so some of the common agents which we are going to discuss is insect, water and wind. Okay, so you can see here agents of pollination means these are the agents which helps in carrying out the process of pollination. First is insect. Okay, insects जो होते हैं कीड़े, ठीक है, like butterfly, honey bees, these are always an important part of pollination. Okay, they help in the process of pollination. How they help? They carry the pollen grains from one flower to the another flower. Okay, now students, you can see here I have written some of the characteristics of the flowers which are pollinated by insects. Okay, some of the characters you can see here, okay, of the flowers which are pollinated by insects. Insects जिन flowers को pollinate करते हैं उन flowers की कुछ खासियत होती है. Okay, first you can see brightly colored, means already I have told you the petals. Okay, structure of flower we have discussed. The petals are brightly colored. Okay, and you all know that flowers they are of different, okay, colors. So brightly colored flower they attract insects for pollination. Okay, the insects or the animals or the human beings they easily get attracted towards the flowers due to its color. Okay, in the same way these insects, okay, they get attracted toward the flower due to its bright color. Okay, next is fragrance. Okay, this we can also call smell. Okay, the flowers they have a sweet fragrance, बहुत अच्छी क्या सुगंध होती है इनमें, जिसकी वजह से क्या होता है इंसेक्ट इनकी तरफ अट्रैक्ट होते हैं. ओके, देन थर्ड इज नेक्टर. बेटा नेक्टर इज जूस. Okay, the juice which is present in the flower, actually this juice is concentrated sugar solution. Okay, गाढ़ा सा solution है इसका sugar का, which is known as nectar. Okay, this nectar it is sucked up by the insects. Insects क्या करते हैं इस nectar को suck up करते हैं, चूसते हैं. Okay, like you can say honeybee. What honeybee does, it takes nectar, it takes juice or it collects juice from different flowers and then it makes honey. Okay, in the same way, this nectar, due to sweetness of this nectar, the insects they, okay, suck up this nectar and then they move from one flower to another flower. Now see how this insects plays a major role in the process of pollination. Okay, once the insect it sits on the flower, for collecting the nectar, it sucks up the juice. During that process, these pollen grains they get stuck to the body of the insect. ये pollen grains क्या हो जाते हैं insects की body में चिपक जाते हैं. Now suppose this is one flower, the insect is sitting on this flower and sucking up the nectar. The pollen grains will stick to the body of this insect, and when this insect is moving away from this first flower and going and sitting on the another flower, then what happens? These pollen grains they fall off from the body of insect and they pollinate the another flower. Okay. This is one flower, this is another flower. The insect, suck up the juice from this flower, and during this process, the pollen grains they got stuck to the body of the insect. Now, the insect moved from this flower to some another flower. Maybe it is B, C, D, X, Y, Z, any flower. Okay, and then the pollen grains they fall off from the body of insect and they pollinate the another flower. So in this way the insects helps in the completion of the process of pollination. Okay, beta second agent is water. Okay, now see the flowers which are pollinated by water. Okay, they produce pollen grains in huge quantity. Okay, they produce pollen grains in huge quantity. Okay, and the pollen grains which are produced they are light in weight, so that they can be easily carried away by the water. Okay, so why they are produced in large quantity or huge quantity? Because they can be wasted. How they can be wasted? Because maximum of the pollen grains they get flown away with the water currents. Okay, so some of the flowers, some of the aquatic flowers or some of the flowers which are pollinated, by the water is hydrilla, eelgrass, and vallisneria. Okay, you have to remember these names: hydrilla, eelgrass, and vallisneria. Okay, so these are the two agents. The next agent which we are going to discuss is wind. See, beta the third agent is wind. So the characteristics of the flowers which are pollinated by wind are: okay, beta, see, the third agent which we are going to discuss is wind. Okay, see how wind helps in carrying away of pollen grains from one flower to the another flower. So the flowers which are pollinated by winds, they have some of the characteristics which I have written on the board. So these flowers, they produce the pollen grains which are light in weight. Why they are light in weight? so that they can be easily carried away by the wind. Along with the wind, they can be moved easily. Okay. Second is pollen grains have wings or feathers. Okay. Some of the pollen grains they have wings or feathers. If they will be having wings or feathers, they can be easily carried away by the wind. Okay. Third is the flowers which are pollinated by wind, they produce large number of pollen grains. Okay, huge quantity of pollen grains are produced because when wind carries away these pollen grains, some of the pollen grains they are wasted. Okay, some of the pollen grains they get wasted. Okay, they do not reach to their proper destination. That's why the flowers which are pollinated by wind, they produce large number of pollen grains. Okay, beta. Then see, other than this insect, water, and wind, some other agents are also there. Okay, like birds, animals. Okay, other than water, insect, and wind, these birds and animals they also play an important role in the process of pollination. Okay, so this has been not mentioned in your syllabus. That's why we are not going to discuss this. Okay, you have to remember only three types. Okay, first is insect, second is water, and third is wind. Okay, beta see next topic is artificial pollination. Okay, artificial pollination means the pollination which is carried out by the human beings. Okay, the pollination which is being carried out artificially. Okay, this type of pollination is not carried out by the nature. This type of pollination is performed by the human beings. That's why it is known as artificial pollination. Okay, now see why artificial pollination is required, why artificial pollination is important. Students, you know that the population of our country or the population of the world is increasing day by day. Okay, every day you can see the population it is increasing very rapidly. Okay, so the demand of the crop, or the demand of the food, it is increasing. So we are also having limited land. Okay, so we cannot grow more or huge quantity of crops. But one of the method that is artificial pollination, by this method we can grow good variety of crops. Okay, we can develop good variety of seeds that can be grown into good quality of crops. Okay, so artificial pollination, what happens in artificial pollination? The first thing which is done in artificial pollination is we have to choose the flowers of desired characters. Okay, we have to choose the flower of desired character means we have to choose that flowers, okay, in which the characteristics are very high or very good. Okay, firstly we choose the flowers in which the characters they are superior. Okay, then second step is, okay, you have to take out the pollen grains from this flower. Okay, then from this the flower which you have taken From this flower, you have to remove the pollen grains. Okay, and the final step is these pollen grains, they are transferred to the another flower. Okay, and the most important thing which you have to keep in mind, which you have to remember is that during the completion of this process, this flower is covered by a polythene bag. Okay, it is covered by a polythene bag in which we have put the anthers, in which we have put the pollen grains. Okay, why we cover this flower with polythene bag? So that it does not get pollinated by some other source. Other source means maybe some birds, maybe some insects, okay, maybe some animals, they can come to this flower and they can what transfer some of the pollen grains into this flower. So to avoid this, what we do, we cover the flower in which we have put the pollen grains with the polythene bag. Okay, okay, and this polythene is, why this polythene is used? To avoid pollination by some other sources. Okay, so by this method, okay, what happens, this polythene bag is kept until there is development or until there is growth of seed or fruit. Okay, so by this method, what we do, we produce crops or we produce seeds of very high quality or very good quality. Okay, so this process is known as hybridization. Okay, this process is known as hybridization. Okay, so artificial pollination, already I have told you that we have limited resources, we have limited area of land. Okay, population is increasing day by day and we need crops in huge quantities, we need food. Okay, so by this artificial pollination we can meet our requirement. Okay, up to this clear? Students, you can message me up to this clear? Okay, beta, very good. Means of all of you are listening carefully. Very good. Now, beta, next topic which we are going to discuss, it is very important topic, that is fertilization. Okay, once the process of pollination is completed, this pollination process is okay followed by fertilization. So I will be drawing a diagram here, and through that diagram I will explain you the process of fertilization. Okay. Now, beta, look carefully. See, portion, okay, this portion, it is the stigma. Now beta, what happens once the pollen grains they fall on this stigma? जैसे ही pollen grains stigma पे गिरेगा, okay, okay, once the pollen grains they fall on this stigma, this pollen grains form a long tube which is known as pollen tube, and this pollen tube it grows through the style. Okay, this portion is style. Now let us see the pollen grains they fall on the stigma. These pollen grains they develop into a tube which is known as pollen tube, and this pollen tube it grows through the style. Okay, and then this pollen tube it reaches into the okay ovule which is present in the ovary. Okay, this pollen tube it reaches the okay ovule which is present in the ovary. See here. Now let us see. This pollen tube it enters the ovule which is present inside the ovary, and this pollen tube it enters the ovule through a hole okay which is known as micropyle. Okay, the pollen tube it enters the ovule through a hole which is known as micropyle. Okay, now what happens? See, listen very carefully. This pollen tube it carries two male gametes. Okay, the pollen tube it is carrying two male gametes. Okay, one of the male gamete it fuses with the egg. Okay, one of the male gamete it fuses with the egg. Okay, and this process of fusion of male gamete with egg is known as syngamy. Okay, so syngamy is very important term. Syngamy means fusion of one of the male gamete of the pollen tube with the egg. Okay, so this process is known as syngamy, and this process leads to the development of zygote. Okay, so again I am repeating this pollen tube it enters the ovule okay through the micropyle. Micropyle is a small opening through which the pollen tube enters into the ovule. Okay, this pollen tube it carries two male gamete. Okay, it carries two male gamete. Now just you have to remember that we are talking about one of the male gamete. Okay, other we are not touching other one. The first male gamete it fuses with one of the egg in the ovule. Okay, and this process is known as syngamy. Syngamy. Okay, and this process leads to the development of a structure which is known as zygote. Okay, so zygote is formed. Now listen very carefully. The second male gamete inside the pollen tube, it fuses with two polar nuclei. You can see here, there are two polar nuclei. Okay, so one of the male gamete, it fuses with two polar nuclei. Okay, and this process is known as triple fusion. Why it is known as triple fusion? Because with two polar nuclei, one of the male gamete is fusing. Okay, that's why it is known as triple fusion. So, the important thing here is that inside the embryo sac, this is the embryo sac, okay, the covering outside the ovule. Inside the embryo sac, two fusions are going on. Okay, two fusions are going on. One is fusion of male gamete with the egg, that is syngamy. Okay, and other is triple fusion. So okay, two types of fusions are going on. That's why this type of fertilization is known as double fertilization. Okay, so beta on page 32 of your book, double fertilization is given there. So I hope this is clear to you, double fertilization. Okay, now if someone asks you what is double fertilization means inside the embryo sac, two processes, or two processes of fusion occurs. First is fusion of one of the male gamete of the pollen tube with the egg, okay, which results in the formation of zygote. Okay, and second is fusion of one another male gamete with the two polar nuclei, okay, which is known as triple fusion. So two types of fusion are occurring inside the embryo sac. One is syngamy and the other is triple fusion. That's why this type of fertilization is known as double fertilization. Okay, so is this clear to you? Syngamy, okay, triple fusion, double fertilization. Okay, now give me response in message. Is this clear? Okay, very good. It means you are okay listening carefully. Okay, beta, very good. Okay, beta. Now see what happens after fertilization. Okay, once the process of fertilization is completed, what happens? See, the petals, okay, the sepals, okay, this stigma, they falls off. They falls off from the parent body, okay, and the ovary and the ovule. What happens to the ovary and the ovule? Ovule after fertilization changes to seed. Okay, it is very important question. These types of questions they comes in your competitive exams. Okay, after fertilization, what happens to the ovule or what happens to the ovary? ठीक है, फर्टिलाइजेशन के प्रोसेस के बाद ओवरी को क्या हो जाता है और ओव्यूल को क्या हो जाता है, ठीक है, उनका क्या फ्यूचर होता है? So you can see here the ovule it changes, okay, or it develops into the seed, and the ovary it changes into the fruit. So these two things you have to keep in mind. Okay, very important questions. Ovule changes to seed and ovary changes to fruit. Okay, so I hope today's lecture is clear to you. Okay, so tomorrow we will be revising this up to this topic, and then tomorrow it will be your test. Okay, class. Now, if you have any doubt, you can ask. Beta, if you have any doubt, you can ask. Okay. Vanya, clear? Okay, beta, now you go through this topic. Okay, you read the first page, that is, you read first page of this chapter. Okay, and up to this fertilization. Okay, and all the best for you.